This is a response video to some of the comments I get on my previous two videos. Sometimes I do videos and stuff, and the point of the video is to go over people's heads. I did a couple of videos on, I've been doing videos on web scraping. I did some videos on web scraping, some lists of proxy servers and the port numbers from some websites. I did it on that topic because, well, I record these videos ahead of time, but I had a viewer asking me about how to scrape stuff from these particular websites. But the point of the video is not the proxies. People go, oh, don't use these proxies. Oh, free proxies are horrible. This is that. It's not about the proxies. The videos aren't about proxies. Did you watch the videos? It's about web scraping. These things apply to pretty much any website you go to. I'm trying to give you real world examples of pulling information from websites. Maybe you do need a proxy, and maybe that does help you, and I wanted to show you that. But the point is the techniques you use, the programming part of it, not the fact that we're pulling information. It could be any information. It could be a list of names. It could be a list of addresses, birth dates, whatever. It's about web scraping, not about the information that we're actually getting. That's just an example. So I just wanted to state that. Also, someone commented the whole, if you're not paying for something, then you are the product, which I get the sentiment towards that. I kind of disagree with it because, one, Linux and all the free and open source software out there, you're not the product, you're the exact opposite. In fact, most of the time when you're paying for a service, not only are you still the product, now you're paying for it, right? So look at all these subscription services out there, Netflix or Amazon movies or whatever, all the, TV shows and movies people subscribe to for streaming or whatnot, and you're paying, they're still tracking you, they're still monitoring all you're doing. The fact that it's free has nothing to do with it. In fact, one of my most hated sayings is, you get what you pay for. That's sometimes true, but most of the time not. Listen, if I go to one store and they're selling a product, and I go to another store and they're selling the same exact product, but they're charging more over here, doesn't mean that it's a better product. It's the same product. In fact, most of the time I find the most expensive stuff and the cheapest stuff are the worst. It's the stuff in the middle that is the best bang for your buck, if you will. But also, sometimes the really cheap stuff is the best because it's not as locked down as the more expensive stuff, especially when it comes to electronics, right? A lot of times you can get a root shell on these cheap products and you can wipe out wherever you want and put wherever you want there. Whereas you get the expensive stuff, like you try to get an Amazon Fire tablet or a Google product, it's like they're so locked down, you can't do anything with them, and they're the more expensive ones. The cheaper ones are the ones that are going to spy you out of the box, but you can probably get a root shell and wipe everything out and put your own stuff on there. So in that case, the cheaper stuff is better. The whole, you get what you pay for, yeah, sometimes higher quality materials might cost more money. That's not always the case. And as far as it comes to the product, again, with electronics, things are advertising. And the whole, you get what you pay for is what companies have fed you, and you believe, oh, I'm paying more. That's why people will pay over $1,000 for an iPhone, when a phone half the price is just as good. Really, I haven't paid over $100 now. Yeah, my $50 phone, the camera might not be as nice, it might be a little slow, but a $1,000 phone is not 20 times better. No. Anyway, so different topics, kind of went something else there at the end. But I wanted to point out, I get comments on my videos every so often where people just completely miss the point. The point is the programming. The point is the scripting, especially when it comes to the web scraping. It's not what we're scraping. I've made up, in this series I've been working on, my own examples to show you different examples of what you could do, but they're designed for me to show you how to web scrape. Now I'm trying to show you some real life scenarios going to real websites, pulling information from email websites and proxy list websites, just as real life examples. The information we're pulling is not important. It's the techniques that we're doing and the hurdles you might come across. You know what? Something I wasn't going to talk about, but I should probably bring up. Someone asked me about one of the videos, how to bypass two-factor authentication. You don't. That's the point of it. If you could bypass it, there would be no point to it. Same with CAPTCHAs. Sometimes you can find something around CAPTCHAs, especially older style ones, where now these days AI can get around some of these old CAPTCHAs. But in general, the whole point is to prevent you from automating stuff, right? If you're trying to log into one of your accounts that has two-factor authentication, turn it off, or see if they have an API key that you can use. But you can't have it enabled and then bypass it, because why would you have it enabled? If you could just bypass it, it defeats the whole purpose. And same with CAPTCHAs. The CAPTCHAs are there to prevent people from scraping stuff in most cases, doing things over and over and over again. And the whole concept is that you shouldn't be able to bypass it. Again, with CAPTCHAs, there's ways around them, but in general, they're there to prevent you from doing mass scraping. And if they're doing their job, there is no bypassing them. Again, within reason. So, yeah. Think. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.